This is Callie Hammond. She has come down here from Atlanta. She is the Pipeline Initiative Manager for the Georgia Society of CPAs, and that means that she's involved in trying to keep a steady stream of students and new CPAs coming into the profession in Georgia. And she wants to talk to you all about some of the services that the Georgia Society of CPAs has, and she can tell you about her connection with Georgia Southwestern.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate y'all letting me come in and kind of take over a few minutes of your class today. And for those who are not in this class that just met right before, I appreciate you guys coming in to hear all about the Georgia Society. So the Georgia Society of CPAs is a professional organization. We have about 13,000 members around the state of Georgia. So we have student members, fellow members, which are CPA members, and then we have our associate members, which can be anybody in between. So my connection to Georgia Southwestern is I'm from Cordele. Anybody? All right. So both of my parents taught there. My sister's currently teaching there. So I'm home a pretty good bit. I went to Georgia Southwestern. I will not tell you how long ago, but it has been a few minutes. And so after I was a student here for both my undergraduate and graduate degrees, I was a recruiter over in the Office of Admissions for almost 5 years. So I have a love for Americas, for Georgia Southwestern, for the School of Business, because this is where I graduated as well. So I am glad to be home. So thank y'all again for having me today. Before we really get into the meat of it, I will not pretend to know every answer to every question. We may have to look something up. You may have to give me your email and we'll have to connect later. I am not a CPA. I just work for CPAs. So I've not taken the CPA exam, so unfortunately I can't answer your questions there, but I know you got some great professors who can certainly help you out in that regard. So again, just excited to talk to you guys about the society. As we were mentioning earlier, the student membership is for the whole time that you are a student in college, whether that's just your undergraduate, whether you continue on to a graduate program, and then plus 1 year after graduation. So for anybody who would like to fill out an application today, we can take that back with us, and it'll be free. It's normally a $25 fee, but we can work that out if you want to send it back with me today. And then plus, make sure you get some goodies, and I have lots in this bag. So if you want a pen, I think I've got some in there too, so help yourselves. But has anybody ever heard of the Georgia Society of CPAs before? No? Okay, well, we've got a nod up here. I love it. So association life is something that I had never heard of before I found out about the Georgia Society of CPAs. I didn't understand how important it was to be connected to others in your profession. So even as an association manager, I go to other conferences where I'm connected to other folks in association life. And it's just really cool to talk to someone who you have just met who knows exactly what your job is, because it's a lot of times hard to describe what your job can be, and it doesn't matter what field you're in unless you're talking to a peer who's been in that class or has taken that exam or has helped with that tax return or what if you decide to be an industry or auditor or whatever the field that you decide to be in. So it's really cool. The best part about the Georgia Society and being a member of the Georgia Society is the network which comes along with that. So we do have chapters all around the state of Georgia. So I know I was talking to some folks who are from the Atlanta area. We've got some folks from South Georgia. We do have an Albany chapter. They meet about once a month, but every one of our chapters meet at least 4 times a year in person. So they do a lot of different things. They may have a student night. They may give away scholarships. They may have a social with a lot of our chapters around the state will have like an attorney, banker, CPA social called an ABC, which is really cool. So you get to meet other people that you can network with and, maybe trade services and that sort of thing. Any questions so far? I get a couple head nods, a couple blank stares. I know it's dreary outside, but we're going to get excited about accounting in here, right? So another thing that I've been told about our student membership that's really, really, really cool is as a member of the Georgia Society, regardless if you're a student member or continue on, you will receive a lot of news from us. So you'll get a printed magazine that's called Current Accounts. We put a lot of information in there. When you are at a point in your career where you're trying to get CPE or continuing professional education, There's a little quiz in the back that you can take to get some hours. We also offer that to all of our members. Do you guys know that you'll have to continue on with education after school when you become a CPA? Okay, so every year you have to get so many hours, and every odd year is a reporting year through the State Board of Accountancy. And what's really cool is the society will actually keep your transcript, just like you have a transcript here, and you have all your grades on it. And if anybody's ever been a transfer student, which used to be my bread and butter, those grades were then put on your transcript here. And so you have one transcript, right, that you can take places. So when you go to, let's just say a job says, send me a copy of your official transcript, you have that one transcript you can send them, right? So the society does that for you as well. We keep all of your education classes that you take with us on your transcript. So if you are audited, which they do have blind audits through the State Board of Accountancy, which is fun, you don't have to pull out a whole bunch of materials. You hand them our transcript. So it's a really cool feature that I know everybody in this room is going to utilize one day. But in addition to the news that you get, besides our current accounts, you also get lots of e-news from us. We have communities. We have 10 of them. They range anywhere from young CPA, healthcare, accounting and auditing, tax, real estate. There's 10 areas that they run in, and you'll get those sent to you if you choose to opt into them, but they are free and part of your membership. And then we also have a student membership for student members only called Stepping Stones. You'll get that monthly, and that may have a little bit lighter articles in it, resume tips, interview tips. It'll have some industry news in it as well, professional news and updates. But you'll get a lot of great news. I've had multiple students tell me that they were able to get jobs or internships because they walked into an interview and said, how about that new tax update? Because they had read it just walking in through Current Accounts magazines or through one of the e-newsletters. So it's important to keep up to date with what's going on in your profession. That's really important to do from now until the end of your career. Any questions on the news and how often that comes out? All right, anybody? All right, we'll go on to a couple more benefits, but feel free to stop me along the way because I am pretty passionate about the society. I'm pretty passionate about accounting. It's very exciting, the profession and all the things that are going on. Let's see, so we've got something else that the society does that I certainly didn't know about before I started working for an association. I didn't even realize that a professional organization would need this. So we actually have registered lobbyists on our staff. So our Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Don Cook, actually keeps up with all of the things that are going on as it deals with accountants on a legislative side. So he's been, of course, very closely following the governor's race, as we all are, sitting on pins and needles still, if I'm not mistaken. But he makes sure that he is down for all of the sessions and makes sure that he is, if we do have a bill that we need to watch or we have, something that's coming down the pipeline that's going to affect the profession, he has got his thumb on that to make sure that he is getting something passed that needs to be passed or talking to all the right people, making those connections. And so that's really something that the society does for your profession, which is really, really neat. And just something I never even thought that I would know anything about before association life came up. Any questions, anything, guys? We do have a ton of benefits. I can talk all day about it. I'd love for somebody to ask me anything.
Callie, make sure these folks understand.
Yeah.
Nobody is, when you say these benefits and these things that you can have, nobody is sending you emails all the time trying to sell you something.
No.
It is not that kind of membership. So you don't get just junk in the mail all
you really
the time,
don't.
your email about that kind of thing. It's the information is out there. You can go to the website. You can look for it. You can participate in what you want to participate in, but you don't get besieged.
You're not going to get bombarded.
Insurance offers and everything else all the time.
And if you do find that you're getting, okay, so maybe as a student you signed up for all 10 communities, right? Because you're not sure which field you'll be in. Are you going to get into a job and you thought you wanted to do tax, but then you do a couple audits and think, okay, this could be my bread and butter. Or maybe you get in and you start to work for a hospital and you want to make sure that you're really focused on that healthcare, and you might not need the young CPAs or the real estate communities anymore. You can at any point opt out of those, whether you went from 10 to 1 to 0 to 5, and you can opt in and out of those. If you can't figure out how to do it, you give us a call. Our member services line is open all the time, and I won't say 24/7, but all the time, and we're always happy to answer your questions, point you in the right direction. I've certainly had phone calls with students where I've had to say, let me check on that and let me call you right back, whether it's not just about the communities, but whether it's about our career center, or whether it's, who should they be connected to. We have a list of like MAC programs on our website, that sort of thing. So I have no problem to take down people's phone number and give them a call back. But our member services team, our whole team, including everybody from publications, member services to CPE to everybody in between, we're there for you. So that's a really cool part about being a member of the society, is that you do have this office that you can call. And like I said, we might not know your answer off the top of our heads, but we can certainly do a little research and try to figure it out for you. We've had people who have called us to get presentations for something, and we do a lot of community service projects. We have financial literacy. We have our food fight, which was gigantic this year. We had a 28% increase, and I think we were able to provide over 700,000 meals around the state of Georgia. Really cool part about the food fight that we participate in is that if you guys chose next year to participate in it, then the food would stay in this area. So you're not, raising funds and raising food to go to Savannah or North Georgia or Atlanta. You're raising funds and collecting food to stay here. So that's a really cool pride. So we do a lot of really, really cool projects. We have a lot of student things that we have going on, but the really cool thing is for you to get involved in the Albany chapter. That to me would be the best place for you guys to go ahead and start, tapping those resources, making those connections, networking with those professionals who are right in your backyard. They do meet in Albany. They have a couple of spots that they meet in, and they trade back and forth. If you plan to move to Savannah and you want to go to a Savannah chapter event, we can make that happen, and we can talk to that chapter and let them know. I love it. You've got a question?
I stay in Atlanta, so what do y'all do?
So we have a lot of chapters in Atlanta. We have the Atlanta chapter, North Atlanta chapter, North Perimeter chapter, Gwinnett, DeKalb. So you've got, where do you live?
DeKalb.
In DeKalb. So we have a DeKalb chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. So even after you graduate, you could go and be a member of that chapter. But right now, as a student, don't quote me on this, most chapters, it is free for students to attend. If there is a fee, it's a really small fee for like the dinner or something. Give me a buzz and let me know, and we can certainly reach out to the chapter. And if you'll go to our website, each chapter has their own listing of events on their portion of the website, and so you can see what events they have upcoming. If they don't have an event coming up, give us a buzz, and there might be something that we're about to put into our system, or maybe we know is coming down the pipeline, and we can certainly share that information with you. We've got those which are fantastic. They're really grassroots, they're in your area. They're people that you could potentially work for. We'll have there's so many folks that come to chapter meetings, whether it's a sole practitioner, whether it's, people from public accounting, whether it's, somebody from healthcare. Right now, the current president of our educational foundation works in healthcare. So we have such a variety of people who are involved with us and you could get connected with. Definitely suggest you go in to a chapter meeting at some point, whether that's in Albany, whether that's in DeKalb, whether, somebody's from Valdosta and they want to, go home for a night. If I would certainly suggest that you get connected to some professionals in your area.
Within the last year, we've had somebody from the 3M group in Macon that's spoken to our accounting club.
Yeah.
We've had
one of our
people
current
from
board
Malden and Jenkins. We've had their recruitment person and one of the young staff people from Albany. We've had an accountant with Phoebe that that also has had quite a public accounting career. We've had some online sessions with various other people. So we do have some
Yeah,
contacts that
absolutely.
we've been able to afford some of our students. But
Yeah,
we
for
have
sure.
these meetings at night most of the time, and some people aren't able to,
If you're-
to
yeah.
attend. But,
And listen, networking. I mean, even if you have that chance to talk to somebody in your classroom, still getting out there and making those connections. That was something we were talking about earlier. You never know who you're going to meet and the thing that you're going to learn in your job to help you next time. I've never even heard of association management before I found out about the Georgia Society of CPAs, and here I'm in a career path that I absolutely love. So you just never know kind of what those connections and who you're going to meet and who might say to you, you know, didn't we meet a few years ago? I've got this really great position that's opening up, or my friend told me about this, or a coworker told me about that, and you just never know what could kind of come down the pipeline. So definitely networking.
Tell them how you got your job.
Oh, so actually, it was a connection from Georgia Southwestern. So my time here, I've made some really good friends. We have a group of 6 of us who still continue on in all of our friendships. One of my very best friends works for Malden and Jenkins. I was here at Georgia Southwestern. I was pregnant with my second child. My husband's job got moved up to Atlanta, so it was stressful, to say the least. And then my friend who works for Malden says, hey, come on in. Says, hey, have you ever heard about the Georgia Society of CPAs? And I said, nope, I have not, but let me check it out. So I went and looked. I did not see an open position on their website, but I thought, let's give it a try. So I sent the Director of Membership and Communication an email. Hey, my name's Callie. I really like your company. Looks really cool. I'd like to work there. I think I would be a really great fit. Here's my resume. She ended up giving me a buzz back. We ended up literally being 2 peas in a pod, the exact same point in our pregnancy and everything. So it was just all meant to be. Here I've been there for 4.5 years and absolutely love it. I wear many hats at the society, and it's really cool to get to go and do stuff like that. So yeah, but you never know. I mean, my job at Georgia Southwestern was to go and talk to high school students just like this about Georgia Southwestern. So you learn a whole lot in a position like that, and you never know where that could take you. Yes, sir.
So as student members, what resources are offered, whether it be like SAS prep or connections or networking? What does the association offer in that way?
Yeah, so sure. So in addition to the news that we just discussed and getting to go to chapter meetings, that sort of thing for networking, we also have a lot of the CPA exam review companies do offer discounts for members of the society. And we're actually updating that portion of our website right now and making sure that it's all accurate and up to date, because those percentages may change every year on a lot of variables. So we're actually getting that portion of our website up to date right now. So a lot of times when you're signing up for a review course, you need to say, I'm a member of the Georgia Society of CPAs. What kind of discount will that get me? They generally will call me and verify your membership, which is no problem at all. They say, you know, is so-and-so a member? And I say yay or nay, and then you're able to get the discount for that. Or maybe you're able to produce your welcome email or something along those lines, and then you're able to get a discount through the CPA review companies. But great question, because that's a big benefit to our student members. And we are actually right now, I was checking my email a few minutes ago, in the process of making sure that portion of our website is getting updated.
when you can put on your resume or your application for graduate school that you're a member of the Georgia Society of CPAs,
Come on in and sit down.
perhaps the American Institute of CPAs, that tells somebody right away that you have some sense of what this profession is about.
Yes.
So there's no downside to being able to have that type of item listed on your resume.
Any other questions we've got?
What about your scholarship program?
Oh,
Can you
yeah,
give
let's talk
them a
about
little details
scholarships.
about
Great.
that? David, go have a seat.
Yeah, you come on in. We're informal today. I'm hoping more people ask some questions, so maybe you'll be next, right? So our scholarships just opened up. Our scholarships started November 1st. They will close on February 1st. You can find that on our website. I also will start sending out emails to anybody in our database that has an email in our database, so another good reason to get involved with us. You do not have to be a student member to win a scholarship. So I want to just put that out there to be as absolutely transparent as possible. But we, certainly that's how we email people and let people know about the news that's coming down. So like I said, it opened up November 1st. It'll close February 1st. Most of the application is very basic. Name, address, email address. We do have 2 essay questions on there that are 250 word max. You guys could do that in your sleep. I know that you won't have a problem with that at all. Then of course sending in your resume, and then it's like taking a picture of your driver's license to send that in, that sort of thing. So what will happen after the applications close on February 1 is we actually have a scholarship committee. So I will take all of the completed applications and I will assign those to 2 different scholarship committee members. They will meet on their own and review your application, and then they'll come together with their partner, review the applications, and then they come together in the group and review all the applications again. So it is quite a process on their end. And then we will announce those scholarships. Last year we gave out 51 scholarships that ranged from $1,000 to $5,000 each. We had 13 different universities that were recognized in that. So we'd love to have you guys apply and get some applications in. Some of our scholarships are designated towards specific schools, some are not. Some are from, chapters, some are directly from our endowments. We've got some really great stuff set up. So like I said, last year we did give out 51, and for the past few years we've been able to give out 50. It all does depend on the market and how that's doing as to how many we can give out per endowment. So there's a whole complicated spreadsheet that you guys, I'm sure, would be great at. I have to call in help. So we get that all worked out, and we're able to give out scholarships every year. It's a really, really, really great opportunity. And like I said, to fill out an application and all you have is 2 small essay questions, and you could potentially win $1,000 to $5,000 is a really big deal. Yes.
And can that be used for graduate school?
Yes, absolutely. To be able to use your to be able to use your scholarship monies, you have to be enrolled in, I believe it is 6 hours for the semester that you will be using it in. So if you only have 1 semester left, you can use the full amount there. You can break it apart in semesters. Each university does do it differently. The check is made out to you and Georgia Southwestern, and they'll be mailed directly to the financial aid office if you are one of the winners. But we do come down to each. I try really hard if I'm asked to attend, and if the school has one, to go to, I'll go to a scholarship night for different universities and present those in person, which is really fun. So we'd love to do that here, so I got to get people to submit those applications.
Your group also, for the last few years, has presented an award to the graduating senior that's majoring in accounting that has the highest
Academic
overall
excellence.
GPA,
Overall-
not just accounting.
overall
business,
GPA.
but overall GPA. So we've had
Yes, we have had
that has
students
been
have done
getting
that.
those awards each year, and they've ranged from
They're generally
100 to 500
Yes,
kind of.
yes.
Most of the time, they're on the upper end of that.
those are our
So
academic
that'll be
excellence.
something that you don't apply for. We just look at our list.
Your
of
professors
graduating
will
seniors
submit
and
that.
come up with that.
And that's an actual award. So that check is written directly out to you,
you,
and you can
okay.
take that money and do with it what you need, whatever you need to do with it. It's an award versus a scholarship. I know we've had some confusion with that in the past. But if you do have any questions along the way, my information is all over our website. I have business cards. These guys can get in touch with me if something ever happens and you need guidance. Let's just say you're filling out a scholarship application, you get to a point where you can't load something. I have people call me all the time, and what I'll do is you can email it to me, and then I'll load it for you. Try to make it as painless as possible. Hey, come on in. How are y'all? Welcome, welcome. Any questions? I feel like you have one, don't you?
What did you major in?
When I was at Georgia Southwestern, I majored in marketing. So I have my BBA in marketing and my MBA. All from here. I loved it. Had the best time.
So being so involved with the industry, what changes do you see coming up or coming down the pipeline that would greatly affect us?
Oh man, that's a good one. Well, and gosh, I'm certainly not an expert on that. There were certainly just some new changes to the CPA exam that I'm sure you guys have all heard of. Different changes in how it's being presented, what questions are being presented, all of that great stuff. So I'm sure you guys have covered that. There's always changes to, tax law and different things as you guys are, using forms to complete stuff like that. If there are any changes that are coming down, that is always communicated in all of the news that we were talking about, whether it's your e-newsletter, whether it's our current accounts magazine, whether it's your student newsletter, or, at the end of the day, if there's something big enough that we need to communicate, we actually just send out a full separate, whether you're signed up or not, email to the members that it will affect. I know hurricanes tend to come on or around October 15th every year, and so that's always a thing that we make sure we're paying attention to make sure that for those who are affected, like this year, for example, our Vice President of Legislative Affairs made sure that anybody who was affected by Michael but did have that tax deadline coming down, people didn't have power, much less internet, right, to be able to submit those. So he made sure that helped get that all extended for our members in the area. So if there's information that needs to be, out to everybody, we certainly make sure that happens. We've got a fantastic communications team who they are on top of it. So we'll certainly get that out to you.
I thought it was interesting that before this last election, they sent out a recap of the amendments that were out there, and it was written in very conversational language that you could easily read and understand. And I found that really helpful. I could read through that in about 5 or 10 minutes. And then when I went to the polls, it just took me, a minute or two to make sure I had my mind on the right one to vote. Whereas a lot of people are standing there trying to read all that legalese.
Whew,
and it was very helpful. So that all of this information was not accounting related. It was just something that could be of service to the members. So for me personally, I've been a member since 1978. When I've worked in public accounting, most of the time my employer has paid for my membership.
Yep.
But it's been important enough to me that when I lived in Texas and I lived in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and then since I've been in education, the university system does not pay for that. I have felt that it was valuable enough that I've continued to pay those dues each year and remain a member. So from 1978 till now, it's been a pretty good while.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yes.
Any additional questions? I know we've got some new folks in. We'll kind of recap and tell you all about the society. Tons and tons of questions.
Well, Callie, we certainly appreciate you
Yeah.
coming. We'll close down our video, and then we can just have some informal
Yeah, we'll
chat
kind of
time
go
with
back
people
to.
that have come in, and we'll get this posted out there
Oh, goodness.
on our website for our online students.
It's not
to see.
nerve-wracking at all.
So we really appreciate it. It's nice to have you back.
Oh man, I'm excited to be here.